Hello, Gemini. It's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here with your August 2025 mid-month general reading. So we are looking at the second half of August for the air sign of Gemini. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time here. Please do subscribe and like. And if you know your other sign placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, watch those as well for additional insight. If something really hits home with you about the reading and you'd like to explore what it means or how to deal with it in your own personal life or situation, you like the reading style. If you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can email me for more information, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can click on the description below to see that contact info as well. I can usually get back to you within 24 hours. I do all areas of life, love and romance, relationship compatibility, career, work, money, investment, 6 and 12-month overviews, different styles, costs, lengths, spreads. There's something in there for everyone, and I'm quite diligent about timely scheduling of personal readings as well. So email me if you're interested. Okay, Gemini, our lovely twins. Let's see what the second half of August 2025 is bringing in for you. We have the Chariot. Success through perseverance, determination, willpower, focus, overcoming challenges. The Four of Coins, being careful, being economical, saving, tightening your belt. But this can also represent feeling stable, but also kind of a bit insecure about what you have. It can represent stagnancy too. Sometimes the Four of Coins or Pentacles, the Four of Earth, is looked at as a bit of a miserly or economical card because it can represent, feeling like you have to hold on very tightly to your money, to your resources, even to your heart, because it's a card about being protective and guarded because you don't feel secure enough and you want to make sure that you feel secure, so it can cause you to kind of contract, right, and be protective and guarded. We have the Eight of Cups here, which kind of makes sense. The Eight of Cups is about leaving behind, turning your back on and leaving behind that which no longer serves you. It may have at one point, but it doesn't anymore, or it's turned out differently than you want. So it's about kind of turning your back and moving in a different direction, even if you don't know exactly what the journey is going to be like. Your crowning energy, primary theme, and focus for the second half of August is the Five of Wands, which is a card that represents conflict, competition. It can be conflict within yourself, conflict with other people, or a combination of both of those things. It feels very much here, Gemini, like many of you are stuck in a situation where it feels like you're kind of on a hamster wheel, so to speak, that you're putting the effort in, you're putting work into it, but it doesn't feel like you're really getting ahead. It feels like you're doing just enough to kind of exist or take care of yourself in kind of a small, tight way, and there's this desire to kind of walk away from it. And therein is the conflict. Let's take a look at that Five of Wands. It can represent petty arguments or disputes, not that the nature of what might be being argued with is not valid, but it kind of has this circular fighting about the same thing over and over and over again. No change is ever happening. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's like where you want to be or how you want to feel, there's a kind of an underlying sense of insecurity or it just isn't enough. Something isn't enough, no matter, how much work you're putting into it. Let's take a look at that Five of Wands. Yeah, Three of Wands. This is about having put the work in to lay the foundation for something. You're feeling pretty good about the progress you're making. There's a sense of needing to be patient for the next step, but feeling positive and hopeful particularly about future growth and expansion. The Ten of Wands, feeling very burdened, feeling very overwhelmed. Something has just turned out to be such a drag, such a burden. And the Eight of Cups again. Yeah, it's kind of the feeling that you're putting the work in. In fact, you're putting in so much, you're overextending yourself, and you're not seeing the kind of results that you want. It's enough to keep you running on that hamster wheel, but not enough to give you forward progress or give you more of a sense of security and stability. This can be in job, work, money. It can be in relationship. Let's take a look at this Chariot card. Nine of Pentacles, Six of Wands. Working hard, trying to get that sense of independence and self-sufficiency, because on the path of gaining independence and self-sufficiency, you have to overcome challenges to get to that point. And that's all about building a sense of empowerment and self-confidence as well. The Six of Wands is victory, triumph, and success. Being recognized, being acknowledged and recognized for your achievements, your talents, your skills, success. It feels like this is what you want and this is not what you have, or not what you feel you have. But there's a determination to have that. And again, this can be in job and work. It might be that in your job or career path, you're working hard, you have a goal, there's things that you want to do and things that you envision yourself accomplishing, and you're putting in all of this work. In fact, too much work. It feels like you're putting out more than what you're getting back in return. In relationship, this can represent the same thing, that you're giving to the point that your well is drying up, but you're not getting that sense of security and stability from it. You're not getting that sense of recognition. Perhaps you feel marginalized, or you feel ignored, or taken advantage of, or neglected in some way. Let's take a look at this Four of Coins. Death and the Seven of Pentacles. And the Chariot again. Well, one thing that I can say for you, Gemini, is that what you want, you want. You feel you deserve it, and you're determined to get it. And here you're taking a look at what you've invested in this. So what do I, because this is a card about taking stock, taking inventory, whether this is in career and work or relationship. What have the efforts gotten me? It's gotten me some, but not enough. It's not enough for you, right? This is looking at what your resources are, looking at what you've invested in this. What can I do to grow this? Or if I can't, what can I take with me in moving forward? And it's all about initiating significant change in our lives and letting go of the things that no longer serve you. It may be that you have to make some sacrifices of letting go of some things in order to move forward. There may be some things you can't take with you, in terms of job or relationship. It may be about, what do I need to let go of? Ultimately, this is about what do I need to let go of to move forward? What kind of changes do I need to make in order to have significant, profound improvement, change, or do I just need to leave? Which is the next card, the Eight of Cups, which we have twice. It's one of the reasons why I always clarify with a different deck, because when we get repeating cards out, it's kind of Spirit's way of pointing to the significance of something, the importance of something. So far we have this Chariot twice, which is, I know what I want. I know what I feel I deserve and I'm worth and I've invested in. I know what I want. We also have this Eight of Cups twice. It may be that I need to turn my back on something and leave and walk away in order to achieve that, or have that, or even have the hope of that. Let's take a look at that Eight of Cups. Yeah, Two of Swords, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is that new beginning, that heart opening up again, self-love, self-awareness. It might even be new love and romance for some of you, or just the start on a new path where your heart feels like it's opening up again, right? It's a card of the beginning of a path that would lead to emotional fulfillment. But here with the Two of Swords, there's a sense of feeling stuck. This represents needing to make some tough choices, and not on an emotional level either. They need to be made on an intellectual and deeply intuitive level. There might be a reluctance or resistance to making that choice or decision. You may feel like your options are limited at this time, but again, I think that there's going to have to be some tough choices to be made, either in making very strong boundaries or perhaps giving an ultimatum in this situation, or just flat out saying, look, if this doesn't happen, I have to leave here. I have to kind of turn my back and walk away. Even if you're afraid to, even if you're afraid that, that you're afraid of not having, the options or opportunities. A lot of times we tend to stay in situations for far too long because we're afraid if we leave, we can't get better, whether it's a better job or a better relationship. And so we figure it's safer just to stay, but it's not a happy or healthy way to live. So here it's all about, okay, what decisions do I need to make to affect a positive change, even if those decisions are tough, making those decisions. All right, advice, guidance, feedback from Spirit. The Five of Wands again. When the Five of Wands comes out as conflict, it's always about don't do this. Stop engaging in the same argument over and over and over again. If you've been doing this over and over and over again and it has not brought in any significant or positive changes, then it means that any kind of significant or positive change in your life is going to have to come from you. It's going to have to be initiated by you. Stop involving yourself or getting drawn into these same, arguments, these same trigger points, right? Stop doing that. Because if there's going to be any positive change, it's going to have to be change that you initiate. Because if you're waiting on the other side, the partner, the boss, the whatever, to affect these positive changes, it's not going to happen. The same old arguments are not going to affect any positive change. Eight of Swords is the next card of advice. The Eight of Swords is a card about somebody who's really a victim of themselves, their own thoughts, their own thought pattern. It represents somebody who's in an unpleasant or not ideal situation, but they feel stuck. They feel like the external challenges are so great, or they would be so difficult, that they give themselves all kinds of excuses and reasons to stay in the situation because it would be too hard to leave, right? But the only person that's actually kind of holding them hostage there is themselves. They could free themselves and make the changes or simply walk away. But it's scary, and they're afraid that it would be very difficult or challenging, and it might be, but they could still free themselves from it or affect some kind of positive change. So make sure that you don't become a victim of your own, make sure that you don't become your own victim here. We have the Knight of Wands, which is about setting your goal, figuring out what smaller goals you need to bypass, to meet along the way to that bigger goal, and then simply taking action. Because the Knight of Wands is about taking action and not wasting any time doing it. So as a page, before this knight became a knight, when this knight was the Page of Wands, this was all about gathering information, the knowledge, what do I need to do, what are my options, picking one and immediately begin to enact, to go out there and manifest, meaning to take action, to take the action steps, right? Exploring your options for a new beginning. What options are there? You may feel like your options are limited. Sometimes that Two of Swords can represent that, but doesn't mean that there isn't options, right? This is about exploring the options, what your options are for a new beginning, taking action on those, and keeping focused on, instead of focusing solely on just challenges or, negativity, it's also about devoting, because you can't escape kind of stress and anxiety, right? But it's also about focusing on the possibility and potential that lies ahead. So I'm going to leave it there. Gemini, those are your messages for the second half of August 2025. And for those of you for whom it made sense and hit home, I hope it was helpful for you. It's time to make a plan and take action here. So I hope in that sense it was good. It was helpful and clarifying for you, or at least gave you some food for thought. Again, if it did and you'd like to see how it plays out and what the advice is in your own personal life or situation, or you just like the reading style, if you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or perhaps as a lovely gift for someone else, email me for more information, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can click on the description below for that contact info as well. I would just be delighted to hear from you and to work with you. I will see you all shortly. Stay safe, be well, be blessed. Hope to see you back here again very soon. Bye-bye.